one of our members is on East Coast time, and we start the proceedings sometimes around 6 and 7 o'clock, and I don't know why that guy is still awake at midnight and after when we do it. We are now live on the H1 Unlimited YouTube stream, so we want to welcome all our fans who have been watching online. We've been on a break here, taking a food break here and letting our rescue personnel come in, get out of the boat for a while and stretch their legs. We did that while the wind was blowing. And I really don't want to say anything about the wind, Jeff Ayler, but it appears to have backed down just a little bit. And it has backed down enough to where H1 officials are going to let us put boats in the water. We've got all three of them in the water. The last one to come in was the 91, the Goodman Real Estate, Andrew Tate's ride. It kissed the water of Lake Guntersville about 3 minutes ago. So we're getting ready to go racing, or as they teach me here in Guntersville, Alabama, we're fixing to go racing here. We're going to have some action out on the water. It is going to feature the U1, the Miss Home Street with Dylan Runny, comes in with 585 points. The U91, the Goodman Real Estate with Andrew Tate, he comes in with 670 points. He's our number 2 point getter. And rounding out what's going to be our 3-boat field is boat number 8, the Beacon Electric, J. Michael Kelly, comes in with 619 points. Gonna have to watch this very closely and see how these boats finish, because the boat that is on the outside looking in right now, and it's not just looking into their heat, which is 3B, the U40 Bucket List Racing and Dustin Eccles, they're going to be watching very closely what happens here in this upcoming heat. But as you said, it's pretty much a must-win for those guys in 3B.
Well, I know the bucket list camp is not wishing any bad luck at all on any teams in this heat, but they're looking at the U1 Miss Home Street to finish third, or maybe even have a blemish of 0. That would help their chances immensely, as long as they finished in a first or second position coming up in 3B. Brad, we mentioned the water earlier to our live audience here. I just wanted to clarify to our online viewers. Whitecaps starting to come back a little bit. They subsided earlier, but Brad, as I mentioned, I think it's manageable. It is going to be a little bit soupy, but these 28-foot boats, 6,700-pound vessels, a lot of beef under them, but they're still a little bit touchy at times, so we'll see how it fares out as far as the boat rides and the strength of the hull in this rough water.
Yeah, and we have to remind ourselves, too, that these are the absolute best race boat drivers in the world. And as Brent Hall likes to say, there's only 9 seats. He's got one. Mm-hmm. So these are basically the 9 best drivers that you've got. It's not going to be on any stretch of the imagination the first time these guys have had to run in rough water against a pretty stiff breeze.
Brad, one thing I wanted to mention, Karen here with us, she is the leader of the volunteer group at the Guntersville Lake Hydrofest. She manages over 300 volunteers, fans along the shoreline. Let's hear it for our volunteers here at the Southern Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can tell you this event does not happen. You know it, Jeff. We all know it. This event does not happen without volunteers. You can have the greatest sponsors and everything, and then you turn around and you don't have anybody to play security, take tickets, sell tickets, serve drinks, help out in the tents. You've got to have your volunteers, and there's over 300 of them here. And what I always say, and I know you do too, it only takes a half a moment when you're walking in, walking out. If you see one, just say thank you.
Well, Brad, it's a perfect example of major golf tournaments. Look at the U.S. Open last week in Los Angeles. They have to have volunteers as well to do those events, and obviously there's big money in PGA golf, but they do need volunteers as well hosting events like that. But we cannot have this event here at Guntersville without the great volunteer staff. Wonderful regatta team here. We'd like to thank our safety and rescue personnel, crane operators, everybody involved. You have to cover everything, the letter A and Z, to run a inboard and unlimited hydroplane race, and Guntersville does it in fine fashion.
Well, they certainly do, and that is why they have been named the Outstanding Race Site of the Year numerous times since they have come on the circuit in 2018. This is their 5th regatta since the rebirth, as you called it, of hydroplane racing here in Guntersville. Beautiful venue, great water conditions, great race course. If Mama Nature just give us a little bit of an assist here, keep this wind down, we're going to get 3A in the books. 3 boats are in the water.
Waiting for a clock countdown for H1 Unlimited. We see some of our Coast Guard, possibly police personnel. They're touring the course right now, so we'll get those crafts in a safe position, and hopefully here in a matter of moments we'll start the clock countdown coming up for Unlimited Heat 3A, brought to you by Allen Land Surveying. Thank you to Brandon and his team at Allen Land Surveying for all their work on our new course. We are proud to have a certified world record race course at Lake Guntersville. That's Allen Land Surveying. Brad, they've done a wonderful job. I have my new t-shirt on the back that says the South's fastest water. When I get home to Madison, the black Sharpie is coming out, changing those letters and word to world fastest water.
I think it just might have to be. We do have another boat going up the backstretch right now, and there is a buoy on board. So I think that may answer our question of what they're going to do, either run with the buoy or without. They are running up the backstretch, at least it looks like from here, substantially inside the H1 Unlimited backstretch. So I'm wondering if this is not, and they have now stopped, I'm wondering if that is not a GP course buoy, which sits almost completely. What did I say? I was just told that buoy is orange.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
And for fans along the shoreline and watching at home via H1 Unlimited through YouTube, when I met Brad in 2007, he said, Jeff, I'm colorblind, and I don't know how you do it. It's absolutely remarkable.
Well, there's not that many boats. And as you do, I eat, sleep, and drink these things. I can.
And we met a new race fan here that works for LRS 102 in Louisville, Kentucky, with the camera here on the beach and doing a little dance for us. Ashley Cole, great meeting you. Glad you come up to visit with Brad and I. And you've got hydro fever. You're on the beach. You won't leave the beach. Crank 'em up.
What a shout out. How about that? So apparently the orange buoy is back underway again. Want to take this opportunity to once again remind our fans about the pit tours. Pit tours are a great way to go see the boats up close, and if you haven't ever seen one of these things up close, you should take the opportunity to go over there and do it. So for those of you with the Ultimate Pass or the club level ticket, make sure you get over to the pits at some point this afternoon. The buses leave out of Gate 1 and will take you to both pit areas. That would include the Pro Lite pit area, down Sunset Drive, and on the other side of the causeway. They started about 8:30 this morning with those. Let me give you one more reminder. You've got to have closed-toed shoes to board the bus and go over for a pit tour. What do you got, Jeff?
Oh, Brad, my good friend is here this weekend. Ethan Connor, 9 years of age. We met 2 years ago, and he just loves hydroplane racing. He's down from Madison. He said, Jeff, we need boats on the water. He wants them cranked up. Ethan, welcome to Guntersville.
There you go. Thank you, Ethan. You still got time to get over and visit the Hydrofest food trucks for a great snack. Everything from pizza to barbecue to chicken and a whole lot more. For those of you with a sweet tooth, there's even gelato, Dippin' Dots. I haven't had my Dippin' Dot yet. And shaved ice. Lots of good stuff. If you're a foodie, find your way out in the park. You will not be disappointed. And of course, as we said a little bit earlier, the Hydrofest merchandise that is out there. Race team merchandise, Hydrofest merchandise, H1 merchandise. Even my son Marcus went over and said he spent a bunch of money at the booth and got some stuff.
Boy,
got some swag.
That was awesome earlier what your son brought us, that little Mexican flavored stuff. And by the way, your dad would like some Dipping Dots. So after these 2 sets of heats, please go get the dipping dots and the shaved ice. Thank you, Marcus.
I don't know who all I am the most disappointed about, you, Marcus, Tana, or Mike. I've mentioned Dippin' Dots about 5 times this weekend, and not a one of you's run over and got me one.
Dip a dot? We'll work them up for you.
Honestly, I'm not sure I've ever had one. But that's okay, Dippin' Dots. Away we go. So, we should be getting close. We get a buoy set somewhere that are still finding their way up the creek with the orange buoy.
Brad, while we have a moment as we're ready to go back to racing activity, wanted to mention these 3 classes of boats will be up in Madison, Indiana, north of here next weekend for the 2023 Bob Hughes Memorial 73rd Madison Regatta presented by U.S. Premier Tube Mills. We lost Bob a couple of weeks ago, longtime president of Miss Madison Incorporated, and be a little emotional time for boat racing fans in Madison next weekend. We will remember Bob at the event, and he's going to be missed, but he was Mr. Madison for Miss Madison Incorporated.
Yeah, and Bob's going to be missed, and on some level it will be, it'll be sad. But at the same time, he lived an extremely full life, and I think at some point that'll become a celebration for him. You knew Bob much better than I did. I knew him enough to know that he's up there and he's going to look down next weekend and not want all of us fussing over him. He's going to sit up there and go, just put the boats in the water and let's go boat race.
You know, it's funny, and I hope this young man's listening because he messaged earlier today. Bob's roots was north of Madison up in DuPont. Not certain if Bob was any of those DuPont Hornet high school basketball teams back in the day, but Bob was a tool and die maker by trade, expanded his business into Clifty Engineering, and Brad, you hear the old cliche, the bigger they are, the harder they are. Well, in some cases, yes. Bob was a businessman, made tons of deals back in the day with the handshake. But getting back to that big part, he had a heart. And I know one person I hope's listening. He helped that young man with a little medical procedure, and he is well indebted to Bob Hughes.
There you go. It's the kind of guy Bob Hughes was and will be remembered as. On my watch, I've got 12:29, and when I went to school, that was pretty close to 12:30, which was our targeted start time. I'm watching Cords come out here. I'm watching Lisa Cornier get ready to roll here with her drones. She will send them up. She is our flight director. Works very closely with the FAA at our race sites to make sure we are legal to fly our drones. And some of the shots, those of you online and watching on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel, you've had some dramatic shots this weekend and some terrific close-ups of the boats in the pits, boats in the corners, and it's getting better and better. And now we're all the way back to that live stream team because they're the ones that are taking those feeds and putting them online and putting them out there for hydroplane fans around the world to watch and enjoy, and we hope you are. I think we're getting close to this at some point, Jeff, because I'm now being told make sure we get our swimmers out of the water. If you got your big toenail in there, we need you to lift it back out, please. We can't put boats on the water until you do. I think we're getting close. Our drones are on the launch pad. The lights are blinking.
And Brad, unfortunately, I do have some news to pass along. The Turbinator developed a oil leak back in Unlimited 2B, and with that, they will be a scratch for the rest of the day here at Lake Guntersville. So tough break for the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware team with Jimmy King. Unfortunate scratch the remainder of the day here at Guntersville.
That's a tough one, Jeff. I was just told we are inside 5 to the 5 or inside 10 minutes until the start. It is now popped up on our screen. We just clicked through 9 minutes. 9 minutes to the start of Heat 3A, presented by Allen Land Surveying. Our drone pilots are in place. Gosh, remember way back in the day, Jeff, we used to talk about helicopters going up in the air. The choppers were up. They were hovering over the corners. And now it's Lisa Cornier and her crew out there making sure we got the drones ready to go. Release the drone, says Brian Montgomery. All right, Brian, get them up in the air. Let's roll, bud. 9:25 until the start, 9:25. Typically at race sites across the country, our boats can come out on the water at the 5-minute mark and not before. Here in Guntersville, they are allowed to come out at the 6-minute mark, the reason being because the pit area is so far across the pond. You've got it there, Jeff. Go ahead and set your watch. Lean in front of me. Catch it without a glare. One of the drones takes off. Taken away from start-finish line. We'll be getting ready to get those shots inside 8 minutes. Inside 8 minutes. 7:50. 7:50. There goes the second drone. Brian, nicely done. Brian runs it right to the edge of the water here. He's got it just hanging there. We're watching it. Now he changes the direction and says head on up and out. There goes number 3. I don't know that we've ever called this before. We got live drone action right here. Lisa Cornier controlling that third one as it is up, hovering right above her head here at start finish. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to the start. U1 Miss Home Street with Dylan Rennie. U91 Goodman Real Estate with Andrew Tate, and U8 Beacon Electric with J. Michael Kelly. Interesting heat here between these. You got the 2 boats out of Miss Madison Racing, the Miss Home Street and the Goodman Real Estate. Then you've got one of the strong entries here, that being the bright red Beacon Electric. I don't think we're going to have any trouble, nor are the fans going to have any trouble telling these boats apart. The Miss Home Street is powder blue and white. The Goodman Real Estate is gold, black, and white, and then you got the all-red Beacon Electric of J. Michael Kelly.
Our Heat 3A sponsor is Allen Land Survey. We're under the 6-minute and 30-second mark for H1 Unlimited 3A. Race fans along the shoreline, we appreciate your patience sticking in here with us. We're going to get this Southern Cup in and beat Mother Nature on this windy late morning, early afternoon here at the Southern Cup as we're approaching the 6-minute period for Allen Land Surveying H1 Unlimited 3A.
6 minutes. 6 minutes. That means the course should get a green flag. It has not changed here. Well, cheapers. Somebody must be listening to us. Green flag on a race course. We can have boats come out. We are ready to go racing, Jeff Ayler. It is Heat 3A of the 2023 Lake Guntersville Hydrofest, the race for the Southern Cup, and Heat 3A presented by Allen Land Surveying. We've got a surveyed course out here. We could set a record. I kind of hope they don't go that fast this time. Not right now, not under these conditions. And that's job 1 right now for these drivers, and they will all tell you that. The most important thing they have to do, bring the boat back to the dock in one piece. And when it's rough like this, for some of our newer fans, you might be thinking, maybe we ought to go a little slower. Every driver will tell you, no, you've got to get your boat up in the air. You got to get it up off the water, and you got to fly over the top of it, just like running your outboard fishing boat in rough water. If you stay down inside that chop, it'll really pound on you. First boat coming across is powder blue and white. Miss Home Street, Jeff. Dylan Runney's going to get a chance to go in and mix it up.
You're exactly right, Brad, and you're reading my mind. I'm kind of wondering what the thoughts are right now inside the helmet of Dylan Runney. This will be his first ever H1 Unlimited Heat where he can fight for lanes. His spotter here on the shoreline is Donnie Allen, very capable 350 shoe. Donnie, he's watching the clock and spotting for Dylan. Right now they're 5th in points, and if you're the Miss Home Street camp, you're the defending national championship boat, I think you might want to be a little aggressive here. You want to score high, you want to score well.
Yeah, you certainly do. But then at the other end of the spectrum, you want to temper that a little bit. You got to bring it back in one piece. We've seen some boats with cracks in them. We've seen a little bit of damage. The crew chief and as we used to say back in the day, some of the wood butchers have been busy on some of these boats, fixing some damage that boats have endured out here. Andrew Tate just painted the exit pin up there. He came around slowly, as he did last time, Jeff. If you will remember, he drove very slowly around the race course and then positioned himself very well for an inside lane. Top end of the race course is the bright red U8, the Beacon Electric with J. Michael Kelly. And our boats, not sure they could be spread apart any further from each other on the race course right now.
You're reading my mind once again. Remember, we had that on our last heat. 2B, same scenario right here early on in the warm-up period in Allen Land Surveying Unlimited 3A, 3:15 until the start. Kelly by the start-finish line buoy in the dominant red Beacon Electric. Dylan Runney cut through the infield in the Home Street blue and white. Miss Home Street, Runney by the start-finish line buoy. Tate just exiting turn number 1 in the white, gold, and black. Goodman Real Estate, 2:55 until the start. Brad, still lots to decide.
There's still lots to decide. Reminding our fans who may be new again, when the boats leave the pit area and come onto the race course, they do not have an assigned lane. This is the milling period. As my friend Jeff Ayler likes to say, this is the race before the race. You slice and dice, if you will, for lack of a better term, and you earn your lane based on timing. We've already seen the 80-mile-an-hour rule come into play. You cannot drop below 80 miles per hour. You will be disqualified and receive no points. You've got to keep it up above 80 miles an hour, and then you've got to find the lane you want. Hopefully you have plenty of water to play with. You're on time on the line when the clock strikes 0 with full boat speed. It's all about the start. Now with 2 seconds mark, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to the start. Well, I think I can see how this one's going to lay out, Jeff Ayler. I don't think there's going to be a lot of mystery here. I think we're still going to have Dylan running to the far outside as he is at the top end of the race course behind our other 2 boats, but this time he doesn't have to trail the field.
Exactly, Brad. Running can come up. Now, you do have to have your lane established, correct, prior to the entrance pin at turn number 2.
That's where, whatever lane, that's a very good call. At the entrance pin to the upper corner, that is the lane you must start in. Whatever lane you're in when you get there, that's where you have to start.
So we still could have the leapfrog activity, but I don't think we're going to see that here. Water conditions have laid down, lumpy, a little soupy, but it's manageable. So Andrew Tate right now, Brad, looks like he'll position himself in lane 1 in Goodman Real Estate. We are 3, 2, 1. Mark. 1 minute period has begun for Allen Land Surveying, H1 Unlimited 3A. J. Michael Kelly will slide into 2 lane in the dominant red U8 Beacon Plumbing. Dylan Runney will go to the outside in the Home Street blue and white Miss Home Street. We're coming up on the 40-second mark. Brad Luce, take him up to turn number 2. Bring him to the green flag for Allen Land Surveying, Heat 3A.
Home Street, Goodman Real Estate, Beacon Electric, top end of the race course, inside 30 seconds. Tate in 1, Kelly in 2, Dylan Runney on the outside. Goodman Real Estate's in 1, Beacon Electric in 2. On the outside with boat speed is Dylan Runney. You said it's about a 12-second run off the top of the corner. Boy, they're going to be tight. Kelly's got room in there. They come off the corner at about 10 seconds. Here comes the run. We are inside 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. Boy, by my watch, Jeff, they were all a tad early, but we'll call them the way they are on the water. I don't think there's much question that Runney was across. The start is under review, so we'll call them as they are, and the way they are right now is Andrew Tate in the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. He comes off the exit pin with the lead. You can't see the other 2 boats, but you can sure see those rooster tails on the outside. Somewhere out there is J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric. Somewhere on the outside is the U1, Dylan Runney in the Miss Home Street, but it's about a 4-boat length lead for Andrew Tate to Goodman Real Estate, Jeff.
All 3 jumped the gun according to H1 Unlimited. Andrew Tate, your leader. Make it a 3-boat length advantage over the Beacon Electric. Dylan Runney falling back in 3rd in Home Street. Brad off the corner. There's Tate. There's Kelly.
Holy cow! Andrew Tate on the inside. He's got Kelly driving right in his right side rear view mirror. Because of the fact everybody jumped the gun, this has become a 4-boat heat. They just put one in the book. There is still 3 more laps to go. It's a 4-lap heat because everybody jumped. Down to the lower end, it is Andrew Tate still trying to hold off J. Michael Kelly. Dylan Runny has fallen back a little bit in the home street. This is going to come down to a Tate-Kelly showdown. They are a lap and a half in as they're up the backstretch. Kelly's still knocking on the door, Jeff.
So some drama here in Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited 3A with all 3 boats jumping the gun. All 3 will have to run 1 extra lap, as Brad Luce said. Into turn number 2, Andrew Tate, your leader, making a 7-boat length advantage over J. Michael Kelly. In the Beacon Electric, Dylan Runny, though, looks like he's trying to go to the buoy row in third in the home street. Brad off the turn, it's Tate. Now he extends it, make it 8-boat lengths.
Yeah, he actually gained on lap number 2, and they're going to come down and put 2 in the book. And Tate has now opened up water on J. Michael Kelly. He's got about 6 boat lengths, but Kelly still knocking on the door. Runny has moved to the inside, but he's back about 2.5, maybe 3 rooster tails. He's not a factor right now, although having moved to the inside lane. Kelly not going to go away on the outside, staying in Andrew Tate's right side rear view mirror. He closed a little bit coming off of the corner, Jeff.
We're just right now at the halfway mark with the gun jumps of all 3 boats in Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited 3A, Andrew Tate maintains that 8-boat length advantage. The top 2 entering turn number 2. Tate gets there first, driving clean on the inside, but boy, Kelly trying everything he can to close the deficit. They work around the turn. There is Tate. Where is Kelly? There he is.
Boy, it looks just like it did the last time. They're going to come down and put another one in the book. Tate still got him 7, 8 boat lengths on Kelly, but Kelly's not going away. What is getting my attention right now, Jeff Ayler, is the boat ride out of the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. He hasn't had boat ride like that all weekend long, and he's got the power. Now he's got the boat ride to use it. Kelly hit some rough water down there. You saw the boat bounce, and now Andrew Tate has opened up almost a full rooster tail on J. Michael Kelly.
1/2 lap left in Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited Heat 3A. Now the deficit for Andrew Tate getting more comfortable, but still work to do. Tate, your leader. Kelly still chases in second, but right now we're at the point Kelly might pull. Let Tate go get those 400. Dylan Runny remains in third in Miss Home Street. Final turn, final lap. Andrew Tate, Goodman Real Estate in front.
Off the top end of the race course, if he can just finish this last piece of straightaway, and he's going to be able to do it, Andrew Tate, U91, Goodman Real Estate, is going to pick up 400 points on the water. J. Michael Kelly gave it a valiant effort, but could not run down the 91 Goodman Real Estate. Here comes Dylan Runny. Third place finish for our defending national high points champion, the U1, the Miss Home Street. Oh my goodness, there was boat riding at 91 like we haven't seen, at least I haven't seen so far this weekend. He did not have a boat ride like that in the Tri-Cities at the test session. This water was rougher. He was solid as a rock. And we always say it, Jeff, you can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have boat ride and can't use it, you just have all the power in the world.
Uh-oh, Goodman Real Estate has woke up the sponsor, John Goodman. He's looking for property in Guntersville. He's looking for a Southern Cup championship later this afternoon. J. Michael Kelly give it a run for a couple of laps, but settled in second. But, Brad, I was a little surprised that Dylan Runny went to the buoy row in third. He had a lot of ground to make up, but give him credit for trying to get back in the mix to make up ground on the buoy, shorter way around. But his teammate boat, Andrew Tate and Goodman Real Estate, too much mustard, too much sauce, gets those 400 points.
Absolutely. Boy, John Goodman made a big point about wanting to hire Andrew Tate as his driver. I would have loved to have been a little fly on the wall and heard some of those discussions about getting him to drive the 91. And to your point, John Goodman's back in the Northwest going, that's why I wanted that guy. That was a good run.
As long as this is official, after H1 inspection, we'll get with Tana. Runny finished third. He was fifth in points. What does this do now for Dustin Eccles in 3B? A win for the bucket list would be absolutely huge because I think they could vault over the home street. to be that 5th or 4th boat in that 5-boat front row final. We'll get it tabulated for you because we still got lots of drama ahead at this Southern Cup.
We actually really do, and if there was anything, you made the point about bucket list racing is not going to wish ill will on another race team, but they would sure like the chips to fall the way they would have designed it, and I think they just did, because the low point getter in that heat at 585 points coming in was Dylan Runny in the home street, and that opens the door for bucket list racing, our top qualifier, to, with a good finish in 3B, find their way on the front row of the final.
Brad, you're exactly right. No team wishes anyone any ill will, but bucket list right now would love those dice to roll up perfectly and hit 777s at the slot machine, so to say, to go their way. 400 right here for the 40. We'll get Tana to go over the numbers, but I think that's going to be huge. Right now, Corey Peabody, our top point boat, even if he finishes 3rd, I think he's positioned himself in the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And as has happened on numerous occasions here at the 2023 Lake Guntersville Hydrofest and the Southern Cup, on many occasions we've had the fans come up with questions, and we got another one that's come. We've got new fans here. They're going, wow, how come that blue boat, that blue and white one, why are they so special? How come they get to have that number U1? Ooh, that's a big deal. That means they are the defending national high points champion. We talk about points that you earn in this regatta to get yourself into the final heat, and the top 5 point getters are on the front row. But you don't throw those points away on the way to Madison, Indiana. Oh, you kind of salt those in the bank. And then at the end of the year, they total them all up. Whoever gets the most is our national high points champion. They get the Martini Rossi trophy. It is a huge deal to be the national high points champion, and then just to show off and puff your chest out to all the other race teams, you get to put the number 1 on the deck of your boat. Jeff, I'll let you take that one because I know you know how that goes.
What's the home street backup number? Traditionally, Miss Madison Incorporated began back in 1961 with U6. That boat finishes out of 1st in the 2023 National High Points race, it would go back to U6. The reason the teammate boat, Goodman Real Estate, is U91 because John Goodman, the sponsor, started his business in 1991. And I'm sure John Goodman would be more than happy to erase that 9 and leave a 1 on that boat for 2024 if the 91 won the National High Point Championship. That would probably be the easiest business decision he made in his life.
I have seen that done on boats before. The Elam Plus running with the number U16, they won the National High Points Championship. They didn't recenter the U1 on the top of the wing. They just covered up the 6 and put it away. Hey, we have a very important announcement. Just checking one thing. Is that the last name?
Yes.
Sorry about that. We had to make sure I was reading this properly. But you might want to check and make sure you have your driver's license, especially if it is a Tennessee driver's license and your name happens to be Jennifer Louise Lomas. Jennifer, check your purse, check your wallet in there. I think you're missing something. So, Jennifer Lomas, we've got your driver's license here at the start-finish line. It is a Tennessee driver's license. We've got it here. Come find Jeff Ayler, myself, Marcus, Mike, Tana, any of us sitting here. We've got your driver's license. We've got it safe and sound. Come on up and pay us a visit.
Brad, real quick, we love to get the fans involved in it. Boy, Mother Nature is coming around for us. Fans, let's give a round of applause to Mother Nature. Let her hear you.
Yeah, Mom. So, as we've seen, we've had a couple of things pop up with regard to technical inspection. We've seen an 80-mile-an-hour violation. They check other things. They check something called an N2, which that's the output speed, or that's the rotating speed of the output shaft of the turbine. Let's hope we don't have to get too deep into the weeds on that one, but that is a speed that is monitored, as is fuel flow.
Brad, the best way I've always put into, you can extend the performance of the motor, gearbox, and craft up to 3 seconds to a certain percent. If you go over that for an extended period of time, it's a violation. I describe the rule, it's the same as push to pass in IndyCar, where you got a little bit extra juice for so many seconds, but it's legal for them. They've got so many seconds to push that button to get extra horsepower. You do it in this, that's a no-no.
That's a no-no, and this was done to save equipment, because we were blowing motors and blowing engines, and the sport was just getting completely out of hand from an expense standpoint. Not that it's cheap to get one of these boats together and put a team out on the water, but that was a big part of the impetus behind that. They also checked the fuel flow. 4.2 gallons a minute is what you can push through to your motor. Again, it's at the interest of not overextending our motors. So looking at our lineup now, coming for our Heat 3B, Unlimited Heat 3B, Allen Land Surveying, again, our presenting sponsor. Thank you to those folks. We're looking at the U11, the Legend Yacht Transport with Jamie Nielsen, going to be joined by the U40, Bucket List Racing. They need points. They need points. And if it turns out they need to win this thing, Jeff Ayler, they're going to have to beat Corey Peabody in the U9 Beacon Plumbing, and so far nobody's solved that riddle yet.
No, they sure haven't, Brad, and the U9 was involved in that tremendous blowover accident last year at the Indiana Governor's Cup Madison Regatta. Shelved the boat for the rest of the season, an extensive rebuild in the off-season and throughout the winter by Jeff Campbell and the team out in the Seattle area. And Brad, that craft, Jeff, I knew would do an outstanding rebuild. They've done some different things to it. I can't tell by the naked eye what they've done. I think it's inside the hull, maybe underneath, but they've done their work. They've done their homework. It runs well.
I remember because of the accident in Madison last year, I hired Corey Peabody to be my color commentator at the Seattle Seafair.
He was fabulous.
He was fabulous. We had so much fun, and so I brought up the U9. I said,
Fabulous.
So, Corey, it's just you and I sitting here talking. Nobody's listening. Of course, we were on the PA system. And I said, nobody's listening. What did you? And I got about that far, and he says, I got nothing for you. I got nothing.
The coverage you two did was absolutely outstanding. I was enjoying the activity back in Madison, watching on H1 Unlimited through YouTube. But, you know, Corey Peabody's a guy, Brad, just so personable. He's a well-rounded human individual, and not only a great spokesman, driver, he's now the lead at Strong Racing, being the team manager, and fine individual. He loves H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing. It's in his blood.
Yeah, he really does love it, and he's been a great addition to our H1 community. And to your point, he's now full-time. He is a full-time employee of Strong Racing, the team general manager.
And that speaks a lot.
It absolutely speaks a lot. So I'm watching on the monitor, looking across, and Corey Peabody's ride is in the water, as is Dustin Eccles, U40. The Bucket List Racing is in the water, and I think by the time I finish this sentence right now, Jamie Nielsen's boat kisses the surface of Lake Guntersville. We got all three of them in the water. We got four of them over there right now. The Miss Home Street is still in the water, but they'll get that boat out with the same crane that they put Jamie Nielsen's U11 Legend Yacht Transport in the water. We received a picture that just came back here not too long ago. Somebody had a shot of the looking down toward turn one and looking toward the tail end of the U1, the Miss Home Street, and there looked like a little bend or maybe even a break in the horizontal stabilizer. Now,
well,
typically they've got another one of those, so I don't think this is the end of the world, but it's rough. I mean, this is what happens in rough water, and quite honestly, if that's the worst thing that happens, they'll take it.
Well, we mentioned that prior to the heat. It's rough, it's soupy, it's manageable, but you still have those lumps and bumps out there. You might hit one unexpectedly. This is not like the asphalt surface here in the local area that's 2.66 around. They got the groove, they got the lines. Brad, this course, marked by buoys. They can camouflage yourself in the water. A driver has to have a great sense of direction to drive any class of inboard hydroplane, and especially unlimited.
Yes, they do. And I have good news for you, Jeff Ayler, and it's not the
Hey.
fact you're getting your Lake Guntersville Hydrofest Cup, and not that I'm getting one, but the
I'll take his.
U91, Andrew Tate, Goodman Real Estate, they have cleared tech inspection. So our winner is going to stand, and it is Andrew Tate. We will wait to hear about the 8 and the 1 subsequently. Speaking of the 9, here comes Jeff Campbell. We've been talking about him all weekend. He comes over and kind of always joins us over here, and he's got all kinds of clipboards and numbers and stopwatches. And
I'm going to see if I can get Jeff off his game face. He's had his game face on all weekend, and I saw him yesterday morning at breakfast at an establishment that would remind you of Hinkle's, established in 1933 in Madison. He didn't even hear me. Look at that.
Oh,
No,
he heard you.
no signal, no nothing.
To your point, he heard you, and he's got his game face on. Oh, now he's going to come down and yell at you a little bit.
Well, I said yesterday you got your game face on. I was wanting to get your attention. I saw you having breakfast at a place that would remind you of an establishment in 1933, Hinkle's in Madison.
Well, we don't have establishments like that, Alex. Yeah, I enjoy it out here.
Well, that's what we like to hear. And get you a double cheese when you get up there. Load her up.
Good luck, Jeff. He's had a good weekend so far. In fact, he's had a great weekend so far. And I go back to what we said the last time we saw that U9 in the water. It was going end for end, and it came back in Madison on the Ohio in 2 pieces. They rebuilt the boat. How many 6- and 7-day-a-week work weeks did that man put in on that boat with his brother and the rest of the crew? And since then, nobody's beat it.
Well, it's incredible because Jeff Campbell and his brother Mike Campbell had many years at Miss Budweiser. And a lot of this stuff that they learned at Budweiser is now on the 9. It's now on the 8. That memory bank, the tutelage, the Ronnie Browns, the Dave Vilwalks, the Jeff Neffs. There's where the craftsmanship come from, learning from those guys, and they learned well, and now they're taking that technology and putting it in these 2 current strong racing crafts.
You know, and that's a comment that Chip Hanauer used to make a lot. He said, you know, now that the Budweiser is gone, and this was back when Budweiser stepped away in 2004 and 2005, when they stepped away from the sport and disbanded that team, all of that knowledge, it didn't go away, but it didn't stay together as a group, and it went to other teams, and he's a fine, fine example of that. This guy knows his race boat. Jeff, we are inside 5 minutes until a 5-minute gun. That's H1 Unlimited Hydro lingo for 10 minutes.
That sure is.
9:33 to be exact. So, fans along the shoreline, whether you've been watching boats for many, many years, whether this is your first time to ever see some of this madness, this is Heat 3B for H1 Unlimited. It is presented by Allen Land Surveying. This is the last opportunity any of our boats have to earn points and get on that front row of the final. A couple of these boats we're going to be watching very, very closely. But in this heat, we have the U11 Legend Yacht Transport with Jamie Nielsen. The boat is chartreuse, royal blue, and red. You can't miss it on the water. It's a beauty. Going to be joined by another one you can't miss on the water. It is bright orange. It is Bucket List Racing. It is driven by Dustin Eccles. It is boat U40. And then we have the white boat trimmed in blue, Corey Peabody. The U9, the Beacon Plumbing. Legend Yacht Transport, Bucket List Racing, Beacon Plumbing. Jamie Nielsen, Dustin Eccles, Corey Peabody.
As Brad mentioned, Unlimited Heat 3B, sponsored by Allen Land Surveying. The new race course is certified for world records, thanks to Brandon and the team at Allen Land Surveying.
Jeff, I'm just full of bubbling with good news here. I got some more.
We'll crank it up.
And Mr. Campbell down there is going to like this. The U8 has cleared the tech truck, so J. Michael Kelly will garner all of his points. He's good, too. Jeff took his ear open there and heard what I said and gave us thumbs up, so he's happy with that. His 2 boats are showing well. So we are just waiting on the home street. and see if they indeed cleared. We certainly hope they did. Give a shout out here to the H1 Unlimited Tech team over on the other side for getting us those answers so quickly. That is important. We got a lot of people within this organization, Jeff. They work very, very hard. It's not just our live stream team. We've been sitting here all weekend watching this drone group. They do such a great job, and that is a whole separate entity, if you will. It's part of H1, but they run their own program. And Lisa over there, she runs the whole show, and she does a very, very good job of it. Lisa Cornier and her team flying the drones, getting those great shots from the air.
Coming up on 7 minutes. Also, too, Brad, I'd like to thank all the local sponsors sponsoring our heat races and H1 Unlimited, heat races and Grand Prix America and Pro Lite. Local sponsors, thank you for being involved in Hydrofest.
We can't do it without you. Cannot do it without you. Allen Land Surveying, sponsor of our H1 Unlimited Heat 3B. And you know what? We've had some pretty good racing out here. We've had some good deck-to-deck stuff. We've had some racing where the outcome has not been decided until maybe the last lap when it became very apparent somebody was going to hold off and get a win. But if you're new to this sport, and I've only said that 200, that's a number, right? A couple hundred times this weekend, but there's an old saying in boat racing that anything can happen, and it can. We've seen boats come off the top end of the race course and not make it across finish line.
The first Friday in June, the test at Tri-Cities, when you were there, we knew that about 5 or 6 boats had a chance of coming out here to Guntersville and have a chance of winning. I think it's proven that by the fact of the speeds we've been seeing. We got the top qualifying boat for this event, hoping to make the front row of the final. This is going to be very important here. They need to score high to make that front row of the final. And then that bad luck they had the earlier 2 heats, if you get a trophy at the end of the day and a winner, all that goes away.
It does go away, and I remember we said before Heat 1A, you don't want to go out and make a mistake. You cannot win the Southern Cup on the first heat of the weekend, but you can sure as heck lose it, and if they don't make the final, they're going to kick themselves all the way up to Madison, Indiana.
And we mentioned that yesterday prior to 1A, that first heat of the weekend in H1 Unlimited, that's the most important heat. That's your building block to get your point total going. Dustin Eccles is behind the 8 ball. Can he get to the other side of the 8 ball here, maybe get a win, get to the front row of the Southern Cup Championship?
3 boats are away from the pit area. 3 drones are away from the start-finish line. They took out of here in formation. The drones are going up. Coming off the top end of the race course with 4 minutes and 30 seconds until the start. Corey Peabody driving the 9. The Beacon Plumbing, all white, trimmed in that metallic blue. It's a pretty hydroplane, and man, has Corey been able to make that thing go. The oldest boat on the H1 Unlimited circuit. Here's the guy who needs points and needs them badly. Dustin Eccles, Bucket List Racing.
Brad, real quick, also, too, fans along the shoreline, if you're in the water, please leave the water immediately. You could cause the stoppage of this heat. It's just for your safety. Please exit the water and get on land. Thank you, race fans.
Yes, thank you very much. And, Jeff, I do not want to say what I'm about to say. These water conditions look pretty good right now. Let's run this thing. The water looks good. Let's go.
We're back to where we were at 8:30 this morning. Come on, come on, come on. Mother Nature, you're doing well.
3 minutes and 35 seconds to the start. Our boats are spread across the backstretch. Top end of the race course, Corey Peabody and the Beacon Plumbing. All white, trimmed in metallic blue. Oh, look at this. Here comes a move across the inside. And, oh, this is going to get a little bit close. No, it's not. No, it's not. Dustin says, I didn't get over here quick enough. He's going to have to move to the outside, I suspect. There he goes. I think he wanted to get in front of Corey and maybe get on the inside of him, but he was too late coming across, Jeff. Remember, for our fans watching this, the boat that is on the race course has priority and has the right-of-way over a boat that is cutting the race course. So Corey had the right-of-way there. It was going to get close if Dustin Eccles won the jump in front of him, and had the U9 wanted to just run right up on the back of him, literally, it would have been legal. Dustin made the right move.
Well, best way to put it, it's not put this way, but Eccles needed to yield, and he did. And better yet, better be glad he did, because if not, that could have been a disaster right there in the warm-up period. That's what's so unique about H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing. This race before the race. Now, Brad, we have all three boats bunched up at the 2-minute 20-second mark. There's only one lane one. Corey Peabody right now has the best shot of getting it.
Yeah, if Dustin's going to beat him, he's going to have to drive around him. It sure looks that way. I thought maybe Dustin might hang back and cut the race course, but oh, and here comes Jamie Nielsen. He's going to come across. I thought Dustin might do that. And Jamie's going to kill as much time as he can. Remember, he's just got to stay above 80 miles an hour, which he's doing. Once he goes past 2 buoys, then he establishes right away on the front straightaway. He's going to do that at the start-finish line. It's going to be Nielsen in 1, Peabody in 2, Eccles in 3, and they are very close together, side by side, as they come down the front straightaway. That was tight. That was very, very tight, because until they crossed the start-finish line, Jamie Nielsen did not have the right-of-way on that inside lane.
Brad, we've mentioned the past 2 seasons, Jamie Nielsen has a knack of getting lane number 1 in H1 Unlimited. Boy, that was expert tactician driving right there. He will be in lane number 1. We're coming up on the 1-minute period. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. That is the 1-minute period for Allen Land Surveying, H1 Unlimited, Heat 3B by my eye. Jamie Nielsen, lane number 1. Corey Peabody, lane number 2. Dustin Eccles, our top qualifier in lane number 3, would love a win, would take a second. Brad Luce, 40 seconds away. Bring him down to the green flag for Allen Land Surveying, 3B.
Watching one of the drone shots and coming up the backstretch there, sometimes these boats get spread apart quite a ways. They were not. There was only about 10 feet wide between those boats as they went up the backstretch. They've opened it up a little bit now. Inside 25 seconds, now 20 until the start. It's only about 12 off that corner. They might be a little bit early, coming up on 12 seconds right now, and they are to the exit pin. This should be good. Nielsen in 1, Peabody in 2. On the outside, it's Eccles. We're inside 5 seconds. We are 3, 2, 1. Mark, and there goes Corey Peabody. He gets the jump on the field. He broke the clock from lane number 2. Broke the clock, meaning the first one across the line. The start is legal. And on the inside, now on the outside, there you see Corey Peabody. Nielsen is there on the inside, back a couple of boat ranks. And somewhere on the outside, you can see the rooster tail out there. Our top qualifier, Dustin Eccles. But they're running 3 wide down the backstretch. And once again, Corey Peabody is off to the races, Jeff.
Peabody in front, flying up the back straightaway. Dustin Eccles is hidden in the rooster tail. Now we go to the drone shot. Peabody in 2. Now Nielsen will tighten it up on the inside. He will go to second. Eccles in third. Peabody in front. Deck to deck dueling for second.
Watch out for Dustin. Where is he? There he is. He slides to the outside. Corey Peabody. We're going to go 3 times around. The start was legal. Peabody. He's got 1 up and 1 down with 2 to go. Then it's Nielsen on the inside. Dustin Eccles. He needs those second place points, Jeff, but he's having to ride a big race course right now because he is on the outside of Corey Peabody. Look at Nielsen. Stay with Corey on the inside. Legend Yacht Transport not going away from that left side mirror on Corey Peabody. The boat driving the hardest right now is Dustin Eccles in Bucket List Racing. He needs those second place points.
We're at the halfway mark of Allen Land Surveying, Unlimited 3B. Corey Peabody comfortably in front, but the story in 3B is the second place battle between Jamie Nielsen and Dustin Eccles. Nielsen obviously with the advantage, running the shorter way around on the buoy row. Eccles needs to try to pass Nielsen get those 300 points. Peabody in front. Brad, it's side by side dueling for second.
Coming down to put 2 in the books with 1 to go. Corey Peabody getting a great boat ride, but it is Jamie Nielsen driving the daylights out of that Legend Yacht Transport. He is hanging on to second place. He knows how big this is for Dustin. Dustin knows he's got to get those second place points. He wants to be on the front row of the final. But Jeff, he is driving that big race course, having to be on the outside of Corey Peabody's wash. Peabody's gone, got a rooster tail and a half, and now look at Nielsen in the Legend Yacht Transport, got almost a rooster tail on Eccles.
Peabody in front, Nielsen now comfortably in second. Eccles tried to get as close to Peabody's rooster tail to cover less real estate, got a little wet, then had to swing outside. 1, 2, 3 in 3B, Peabody, Nielsen, Eccles. Brad, bring him to the checkered flag.
Top end of the race course, Corey Peabody. Nobody has solved this puzzle yet this weekend. Checkered flag flies. Corey Peabody, Beacon Plumbing U9 will pick up the win on the water for 400 points. Jamie Nielsen with a great run in Legend Yacht Transport, and it's Dustin Eccles with a solid third place finish. Oh boy, and now the point totals are going to be fruit salad. It's looking good, Jeff. The boat is running like a rocket. One more, he says. And when he says that, we know what he's talking about. He's talking about that final heat.
That's Southern Cup.
Oh my, I can tell you somebody else that is just giddy over there, and it is Shannon Rainey. Remember, that is her boat. Scott gets the other one. She calls that Legend Yacht Transport her boat. They're happy. That's as good as that boat's run a long time.
I said the other day, I'm glad they went back to this one as a fan, and I don't know if a coin flip was involved, but Shannon, I'm glad you won the quarter coin flip.
Absolutely. By the way, I have more good news for you. I even have more than that. We're just told by Mike Morissette there are no calls on the water in that heat, but let's go back to the other heat. Miss Homestreet cleared tech inspection. So our previous heat is complete. It's in the books. It's official. The winner was Andrew Tate in the U91, Goodman Real Estate. J. Michael Kelly has cleared. It's official. Second place finish, 300 points in the U8, the Beacon Electric. And Dylan Rennie, third place, 225 points in the U1, the Miss Homestreet. But the story at hand was that one. I'm out of breath again. That was fun.
That was a good heat, and Brad, the key to that heat, that move at about the 130 mark, Jamie Nielsen cutting through the infield, which was a legal maneuver, secured his boat in lane number 1, the Legend Yacht Transport, that forced Peabody into 2, Eccles in 3. Now we'll wait for the tech inspection for 3B. We'll tabulate the points. It's going to be interesting to see who the top 5 are to get on the front row for the Southern Cup.
We're going to have to wait until they go through tech inspection, but we will get it quickly. Underneath our tent here for just a moment was Brian Montgomery. Brian, the drone shots really showed us some good stuff. He's not looking over here. He's pretending he can't hear me, but your drone shots are really helping right here, man. They are outstanding. The drones have landed. He brought them back safely, and Lisa's still out there flying one. She's got one overhead, but those of you watching on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel, pretty cool stuff by the H1 Unlimited live stream team and our drone team. Thanks, Brian. It's good stuff. Oh, I might catch my breath after that. You notice the last 2 heats, Jeff, I've had to stand up. This sitting down calling a boat race is never going to work for me.
What has got into me?
I don't know. You
I'm
just
sitting.
Sit down, you might as well just get the recliner.
You know what it is?
No.
It's Mike and Tana Morissette. They relax me.
That was a good one. Unlimited 3B presented by Allen Land Surveying. The unofficial finish order once again, U9 Beacon Plumbing, Corey Peabody. Second place to U11 Legend Yacht Transport, Jamie Nielsen. And our third place finisher, U40 Bucket List Racing, Dustin Eccles. We'll await the final word out of tech inspection, and then we'll total up the points, because it's going to be, as Phil Cole used to like to say way back in the day, it's going to be fruit salad after those top 2 or 3. It's going to be real close.
Phil Cole, a native of Madison. Brad, his promotion far ahead of his time. Very talented man back in the day. U36.
The Miss US U36 is next on our schedule, and apparently he's going to come. Mark Weber. Music. So the U36 is going to be music to our ears. Oh, no, apparently we're supposed to send it to Wyatt so he can play some music. Wyatt will send it back to you in the studio, play some tunes until we get the U36 out here. Thanks, Wyatt.
Thank you, Wyatt. Playing our tunes here along the shoreline at the 2023 Southern Cup, the Guntersville Lake Hydrofest. We were hoping to go with Grand Prix America in their heat number 3 with their sponsor, Explore Lake Guntersville. Wind picked up a little bit there after 3Bs, so next we'll go with the vintage Unlimited U36 Miss US4. Understand that craft is in the water. And Mark Weber out of Washington, Michigan will take to the course in U36 Miss US4 here in a matter of moments. Still waiting word from H1 Unlimited on technical inspection back in Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited Heat 3B. Your unofficial winner, Corey Peabody, Beacon Plumbing. Second place, Jamie Nielsen, Legend Yacht Transport. And in third position, Dustin Eccles in the Bucket List Racing. Up next, exhibition run for the U36 Miss US4. Following that, we hope to go back to Grand Prix America with Explore Lake Guntersville Grand Prix Heat 3. Just saw Snake Perry with the Madison Regatta. Of course, that race is next weekend up in Madison, Indiana. Snake is our pit chairman. Snake, good to see you. All you Madison fans, let's hear you. Best way to get to Madison, easiest way, straight up I-65. You'll see exit 29 in Scottsburg, Indiana. Make a right. Just stay on State Road 56. It'll take you right to downtown Madison. Hinkle's on Main Street in Madison. That's the first place you need to go. Then maybe swing just a little block over on West Street to Shipley's. Then maybe weave back around up and go to Bellows. I've got it lined out. Love to see you in Madison, Indiana. Next weekend for the Bob Hughes Memorial 73rd Madison Regatta presented by U.S. Premier Tube Mills. To bring the U36 Miss US4 out on the water. And here he comes. Just left the pit area. And the vintage U36 Miss US4. Craft built by the late Henry Lauterbach. Started back in 1956. This particular Unlimited, not a very successful racing career under the ownership of George Simon out of Detroit, Michigan. George Simon was the leader of U.S. Equipment Company. Miss US was a very familiar name in unlimited hydroplane racing, 1950s, 1960s, 1970s. Last season for the Miss US, coincidentally, in 1976, the Miss US won the Gold Cup on home waters in Detroit with the cab-over Ron Jones designed turbocharged Allison. Miss US with Tom DeEath in the cockpit. George Simon wanted to retire after that win in Detroit on home waters. The field that year in 1976, there was some boats that got some damage at the Gold Cup. The next race on the circuit was in Madison, Indiana, and George elected to continue on throughout the season to help fill the field at the remaining races while those crafts were repaired. And unlimited hydroplane racing, George Simon was one of the kings of the sport and campaigned many Miss US's in unlimited hydroplane racing. Mark Weber, championship pilot and inboard, has 2 career unlimited victories. His first back in 1997 out in Las Vegas at the Silver Cup, driving the Miss Budweiser. Then the next year in Honolulu, Hawaii, picked up a win for Kim and Debbie Gregory in the Wildfire. This boat is powered by a stock Allison. You don't want to hear me, you want to hear the thunder. Mark Weber working in turn number 1, U36 Miss US 4. Boat owner is Jay Armstrong out of Omaha, Nebraska. Chief engine builder George Zarnacki. Jay and George has aeronautical background, still in aeronautics, but they picked up this boat, and this has been a dream come true for both George and Jay and the rest of the team, as they love campaigning this U36 Miss US 4 around the country and at vintage events as well in the United States in the APBA vintage category around the country. Mark back up the straightaway. This craft around 34 feet in length, powered by that stock Allison engine. Of course, it has that famous Lauterbach design, the drop sponsons, those familiar tail sections on the Lauterbach boats. And when you talk Lauterbach, Henry Lauterbach, his son Larry Lauterbach, dynamite pilots and builders of hydroplanes in the history of inboard hydroplane racing. And Henry and Larry, Henry built this one, then Larry helped his father back in 1974 build the Gemini that was started out with turbocharged Allison and then converted over to twin Chevrolets. Familiar name with that boat was Candyman later in its racing days. Here comes Mark Weber once again. And Mark working in turn number 1. Water choppy, but this heavy girl can handle the conditions out here at Lake Guntersville. Exhibition run as Mark works through that 2,094-foot turn. Last year here in Guntersville, we had the record-setting boat for propeller-driven hydroplane, the Miss US 1, as we celebrated 60-year anniversary of that craft's run back in 1962 on these waters, set that record of 200.419 miles per hour by the driver, Roy Doobie. Mike Morissette. Roy Doobie was a native of Detroit, and somehow, some way, he married Opal Buchanan. Opal Buchanan, she lived in Manville, Indiana, just about 6 miles down the road from Rikers Ridge. Graham Heath, longtime crew member and mechanic in this sport. I got a kind of a funny feeling that Graham hooked up Roy and Opal. I'm not certain, but if I had to lay a $5 bill on it, I think Graham Heath might have got those two together. Mark works off the turn. Here comes this stock Allison. We mentioned Roy Doobie set that record here in 1962. That craft stopped in Madison, Indiana multiple times. It would test on the Ohio River. They tested in Guntersville a lot back in the 1960s, and when they set the record that day, it was a kind of a iffy situation. The weather was not too good, a little misty rain, but Doobie found his way through the traps. He went 1 mile one direction, and then you have so many minutes and seconds to get turned back around, go back through the trap once again, and he set that here at 200.419 miles per hour. Now I got to put my friend Steve Edwards on the spot from Madison, Indiana. We came down here on Thursday. He said, Jeff, over there on the other side of that causeway, I think where that world record was set by Doobie. So if that is incorrect information, If you see Steve Edwards along the shoreline here in Madison, you get with him, because that's what he told me. I'm not taking the blame for it. He has to take the blame for it. Mark working up in turn number 2. Might be the final time around. And the U36 Miss US 4. Get your cameras out. Give Mark a wave. And thank him for participating here at the Guntersville Lake Hydrofest in U36 Miss US 4. Brad, you're back with me. I went over everything by memory. I think I was right.
I can tell you, you did. You headed out of the park, and I was walking over toward the tent over there, and you were talking about the 76 Gold Cup and Tom Deeth and everything that went on that day, and America's birthday, 200th birthday, and they won it. You were spot on.
And did you hear who else we got in? Opal Buchanan.
I did hear that. Heck, give you a little piece of trivia, though, about that 1976 Gold Cup, and you were talking about it. George Simon got the victory, and then he hung it up. He said, if I ever win the Gold Cup, oh, you know this story.
Go ahead.
If I ever win the Gold Cup, I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. As you know, we won't get into the where's, how's, and wherefores about it, but somehow I found the APBA Gold Cup and sitting on the bar in my house for the better part of a month. And I was scouring over the Gold Cup, looking at every little piece and all the medallions. In 1976, on the medallion for the Miss US victory in Detroit, the number 26, very small, was just punched into the bottom. I started asking. Nobody knew. Nobody knew what it was for. Tom Deeth, maybe you know his kid. What's his kid's name?
Scott.
He said, I'll find out. He got a hold of somebody. I don't know if it was the Simon family. He had it put on there. George Simon, because it took him 26 years to win it. He got a little too sick.
I thought where you were going, Simon actually wanted to retire after that 76 event, but the Miss Budweiser and the Olympia Beer had hull damage in Detroit, and he elected to continue on that season to fill the field.
He did indeed. George Simon was great, and you remember last year we had the Simon family here.
It was great.
Oh, that was fun interviewing those guys because they were our age, they were little pit rats running around Seattle when I was a little kid. And, they were getting into trouble, and they had fun telling me about it.
That boat that was here last year on display, it is scheduled to be restored, and I understand that Jay Armstrong and George Zernacki, they have a Rolls-Royce Merlin in Omaha, Nebraska. That will be the one fitted in that record holder Miss US 1.
If they put that boat in the water and run it, and it's going to run, I'll drive across the country to come see that one.
It's a beauty.
It is a beautiful boat, built in the same year as the one we just saw out here, 1957. And it was, and then we'll stop on Miss US. It was, George Simon built the Miss US 1. Then he built the Miss US 2. Then he built the third Miss US, and it was the Miss US 1. Because it was built from the same set of plans, except it had a different builder. Dan Arena built the first one. I think Staudiker had his hand in the second one. But so he had a Miss US 1, a Miss US 2, a Miss US 1, and a Miss US 4. There never was a 3. There was a third one. But
there never was a fifth, but there truly was, but they were never tabbed the 5th or the 6th, maybe the 7th. We had the Bobtail US.
Ooh.
We had the Carrollson US that Steve Edwards told me that Bernie owned, that Simon leased. And then we had the Titanium
the one that
US. That heavy thing. Ugly.
It was an ugly boat.
Oh, it was ugly. And then he come out with the Beauty.
Let's
beauties.
Let's send it back to Wyatt because they're moving the tables on us right now.
I finish my story.
You're going to be under the table.
I'll finish my story later.
You'll finish your story. We'll come right. But no, finish your story right now because now you got me wondering.
Well, then he come out with the Jones cab over, and of course the first one burnt to the water line out at Lake Washington in Seattle for the '74 Gold Cup, and then. Was that a new boat in '75 they came back out with, or did they repair the one that burned to the water line?
I think they repaired the one they had.
Okay. And that's the one that won the Gold Cup in '76
That is correct.
in Detroit.
I'll never forget that fire in Seattle. That was
It
Heat
ugly.
1C. And I
Yep.
think they restarted Heat 1C about 4 times.
I
We
think
started
it
with
was-
6 boats, and when they finally ran it, we had 2.
But that was one of the most memorable heats in unlimited hydroplane history. It was the 3rd crack, and we got down to George Henley and the Wing Wonder Pan Pack and Howie Benz and the Budweiser, and they were going around 6-lap heats in the Gold Cup preliminaries in those days. It was a 5-lap duel, deck to deck, and then off turn number 1 on the final lap, Benz's foot come off the accelerator, and Ray McMacken had the great call on King 5. The pack shot to victory, and the Wing Wonder won that dynamite deck-to-deck duel on Lake Washington at Sand Point, not the place where they race at now.
That's right. That was the only time they did not run down at the Stan Sayers Memorial Park at the south end of Lake Washington, just south of the I-90 floating bridge, which I really didn't understand it as I should have back in the day, but I thought that was on some level not bad. It was right below my house.
That's
That was
good.
easy for me to get to, but the race course sucked. And anyway,
Saved you on.
let's send it back to that young man over there. People are thinking we're going to sit here and talk this stuff all day long, and we'll head home. We've still got lots of action to come. Up next, Explore Lake Guntersville Grand Prix. They're coming out. Get it?
And welcome back to the shoreline here at the Southern Cup Guntersville Lake Hydrofest. We're 4 minutes and 10 seconds away from heat number 3 of Grand Prix. Heat sponsor, Explore Lake Guntersville. Boats are on the water. Grand Prix hydroplanes, 24-foot length, 12-foot width. All boats powered by the 468 cubic inch engine, 2,700 pound of racing vessel. These crafts pop out 1,400 horsepower. These boats are well capable of doing 170 miles per hour, but in racing competition, lumpy water here today. I think at the end of each chute we'll look at a $120 125 miles per hour. First boat with the start-finish line, brand new boat, River City Printing. Brandon Kennedy, the driver, out of Newark, Delaware. Owners Ron and Sandy Thompson out of Bel Air, Maryland. The orange boat with the checkered flag effect, that's GP 79, Reliable Diamond Tool. Jeff Bernard chauffeurs out of Kent, Washington. The owner, Mike Grindell, out of Webster, Massachusetts. Great to see the multicolored craft to the outside. That is the GP 17, Miss Renee, and they have picked up a new sponsor in Grand Prix in the Truss Company. Dustin Eccles pilots out of Monroe, Washington. Owner is Brian Richards, representing Richards Racing. Miss Renee, that is Brian Richards' late mother. They keep her name on the craft. Dominant yellow boat entering turn number 2. That is the GP 15 Stetner Construction Group. Greg Hopp, the driver, out of Lake Stevens, Washington, driving for his father, Jerry Hopp, out of Snohomish, Washington. GP 15 gets assistance throughout the season from Bardall and Plan B Garage. Also, too, this weekend, they get support from Guntersville Foodland Plus. The yellow boat going into turn number 1. Next week at Madison will be racing as Super Shine Auto Detailing and Window Tinting with assistance from Dan Cole, Sells Cars. 1 1/4 course for Grand Prix America. First time we've had all 5, I believe, out here this weekend. Brandon Kennedy cutting through the infield. That is a legal maneuver in the race before the race. We now are 1 minute and 30 seconds until the start for Explore Lake Guntersville Grand Prix Heat number 3. Hop off the exit pin at turn number 2. Also, too, I forgot to mention our 5th boat right here, the green-colored craft. That is the Jack's Bar and Grill. Presents Sunbelt Rentals. Piper Wings Hydrofish. Bobby King drives out of Shelby Township, Michigan. For boat owners, Mike Babinski and Huey Newport. We are coming up on 45 seconds until the start. 45 seconds away. Ethan Connor along the shoreline. This is what you wanted. You wanted noise. We're 30 seconds away. They're going to crank them up as we got 5 Grand Prix America hydroplanes set to go here and Explore Lake Guntersville Heat number 3. Looks like Jeff Bernard will be in 1. Let's put Kennedy. No, that's King in 2. Kennedy in 3. Hop in 4. I believe Eccles will go to the outside. 8 seconds away. GPA Heat 3. We now are 3, 2, 1. Mark. It appears to be a clean start. We're racing in Explore Lake Guntersville Grand Prix Heat 3. And the thunder erupts on Lake Guntersville. Start was good for Tana Morissette with H1 Unlimited. Off the turn, that is Bobby King in the Jack's Bar and Grill. Presents Sunbelt Rentals, and he is flat out flying in front. Jeff Bernard in second, and Reliable Diamond Tool. I believe now Brandon Kennedy will move into second in the brand new River City Printing. Bernard in third, Hop in fourth, Eccles in fifth. They get around here quickly. Second largest hydroplane class on the planet. Bobby King leads it. Make it a 2 rooster tail advantage over Brandon Kennedy and River City Printing. Jeff Bernard in third and Reliable Diamond Tool. Greg Hopp in fourth in Guntersville Foodland Plus Stetner Construction Group. And in fifth, the Truss Company, Miss Renee with Dustin Eccles. 1 1/2 in, 2.5 to go. King clearly in front, but the battle is for second. Here comes Bernard. Kennedy is in second, but Bernard closing the gap on his left inside. King working through turn number 2, driving a nice arc through turn number 2. We're halfway through Explore Lake Guntersville Heat 3. It's King comfortably in front. We've got this battle for second. Brandon Kennedy maintaining second. And River City Printing for Kyle Bipes, the sponsor. But now Bernard tightening things up for Jonathan Thompson, the sponsor of Reliable Diamond Tool. Greg Hopp remains in 4th. Dustin Eccles in 5th. 2.5 in, 1.5 to go. King comfortably in front, making a straightaway advantage, but here comes Bernard. Your race for 2nd, and now Bernard trying to move into 2nd. Beautiful dueling here on Lake Guntersville in Grand Prix America. Boy, they are tight. The race for 2nd is intense. White flag displayed. King in front, he's your leader. And now Kennedy starting to lose some momentum on the River City Printing is slowing. Bernard now comfortably in 2nd. And Reliable Diamond Tool. Kennedy trying to hold on to 3rd. Greg Hopp in 4th. And Dustin Eccles trails it. And King 1/2 a lap to go in front. In the quick, Jack's Bar and Grill presents Sunbelt Rentals. Final turn, final lap for Bobby King out of Shelby Township, Michigan. Driving for Mike Bavinsky and Huey Newport. Checkered flags waving. Explorer Lake Guntersville was the Heat 3 sponsor. Your winner, Bobby King and Jack's Bar and Grill presents Sunbelt Rentals. Came across in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. We'll get an unofficial time for you. Jeff Bernard will cross in the 2nd spot. In Reliable Diamond Tool, Brandon Kennedy will get 3rd in River City Printing. Greg Hopp will get 4th in the Stetner Construction Group Guntersville Foodland Plus. And Dustin Eccles will cross in 5th in the Trust Group, or the Trust Company, excuse me, Miss Renee. 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Mike Morissette, let me find my chart, supplied to me by Roger Mahan. 2:52. All right. Race fans, 2 minutes and 52 seconds on a 1 1/4 mile course, 5 mile heat. Got an average speed there looking at about 104 miles per hour for Bobby King. And Jack's Bar and Grill presents Sunbelt Rentals, Piper Wings, Hydrofish. Race fans, how do you like the thunder of GPA? With that, I need to take a little break. We're going to send it back to Wyatt for some tunes, but stand by. More racing activity ahead here at the Southern Cup.
Jeff Ayler, I've been busy running around here while you called that Grand Prix America heat. Looked like a good one from where I was standing, especially for second and third place. Looked like you had I know it was loud. You had a great looking 5-boat start.
We had a great start, and yeah, we had some dueling there between Brandon Kennedy and River City Printing and Jeff Bernard and Reliable Diamond Tool. Brandon held second, and then Bernard come up on his inside hip to take over. So your winner was Bobby King, followed by Jeff Bernard, then Brandon Kennedy, Greg Hopp, and Dustin Eccles. So up next, we're going to go Pro Lite Racing with their heat number 3, sponsored by Randy Jones and Associates. Pro Lite Heat 3, Randy Jones and Associates, providing boat insurance for your lifestyle and budget. Contact the team at Randy Jones and Associates for all your insurance needs. And wow, proper sponsor for this event, boat insurance. Check out Randy Jones and Associates. They might sponsor your race boat when it's going down the road on a trailer, but when you put it in the drink, that policy is no good.
So Jeff, there's a lot going on here.
Fill me in, my friend.
Well, we've got Randy Jones and Associates presenting our Pro Lite Class Heat 3. That's what is on deck right now. Expect to start here in boats any moment. We've got our final field set for our 2023 Southern Cup. Okay, Jeff, there's a lot going on here, a lot of moving parts right now, but what we're going to do, we were talking about the Pro Lights. That was what's up next. Randy Jones and Associates presents the Pro Lights Heat number 3. We were going to have that heat running next, not now.
Well, right.
Not now. The water is too rough for them. They're not going to put them in the water. They're going to try and pull the GPs out that are in the water right now, and we're going to come with our H1 Unlimited Final for the Southern Cup. If we can get it in, we're going to get it in. So things are going to happen quickly here, but no H1 boats are in the water right now. We see the GPs. They got to lift them out, put the H1 Unlimiteds in, and then let's go.
And Brad, for our fans here at Lake Guntersville and also too watching at home via H1 Unlimited through YouTube, we've been in these situations before, weather conditions, but the name of the game at the end of the event, the premier class at the event has priority to get to that championship heat. That's what you want to run on the water. If we can come back, we'll see, but that's up to the race officials here at the Guntersville Lake Hydrofest. But our priority as an event and a race is to complete this Southern Cup Championship on the water and not by the point tallies in the first 3 sections and qualifying.
Yep, so I had stepped away because I thought we were going to do something else. I was trying to get sponsors and trophy awards and all that good stuff. You did a great job. I heard it, the call on the GP Heat. Have we had an opportunity yet to walk down our final field? Have you done that yet?
That's why you're here, my friend.
Wow.
Tell them.
All right, so here we go. It is the 2023 Lake Guntersville Hydrofest and the race for the Southern Cup. We have finally found our way to that final heat, the winner-take-all final heat for the Southern Cup. Our final field is set, and it reads as follows. U1, Miss Homestreet, Dylan Runny. U8, J. Michael Kelly and the Beacon Electric. No surprise here, the U9, Beacon Plumbing and Corey Peabody. U11, Legend Yacht Transport and Jamie Nielsen. rounding out our 5-boat front row, the U91, the Miss Goodman Real Estate with Andrew Tate. The trailer boat's going to be the U40, the Bucket List Racing with Dustin Eccles. So on the front row, it's going to be Dylan Runney, J. Michael Kelly, Corey Peabody, Jamie Nielsen, and Andrew Tate. All I can say to that pretty much is wow. We talk about whether or not we're going to have our first repeat winner since the rebirth of the racer. We've got 3 former Southern Cup champions in that heat in J. Michael Kelly, Corey Peabody, and Andrew Tate. Will Dylan Runney or Jamie Nielsen sneak up and jump up atop the podium? No matter how you cut it, with what we've seen here this weekend from testing, qualifying, and racing, that is a fast field. It's not very often we see our top qualifier sitting in a trailer position, and it's what we talked about at the beginning. You can't win the Southern Cup on the first heat of the weekend, but you can sure lose it, and they're going to kick their tails all the way to Madison because they're not on the front row because they made a mistake on that first heat of the weekend.
Yeah, it's a tough break for the Bucket List Racing, so we'll see how Dustin Eccles fares from the trailer position in the final heat, and going to be a hard task, no doubt about it. Brad, we're looking at history of this sport. You and I spoke about it before the season on the telephone, and Dylan Runney, this is his first ever H1 Unlimited hydroplane race. It has been done before numerous times in the sport with drivers winning the first race they ever entered in Unlimited. Some that come to mind, Gene Whipp at the 1973 President's Cup in the Lincoln Thrift 7 1/4% special. Dave Villock in 1992 in San Diego in the Coors Dry KZOK U102.5. And Brad gave me 2 other names, and I never realized that Howie Benz won his first Unlimited race in the Miss Budweiser. Had to have been 1974 at the Champion Spark Plug Regatta in Miami.
Oh, but wait, there's more. Yeah, I may have given you that name, and I know he's listening. You're listening, and he's sitting there going, come on, Brad, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Andy Muntz is back home. Oh, you ask Andy a question like that, you should see the answers. You get detailed boats, dates, times, how far he won by, and the whole bit. Danny Foster. How about that name to come at you from the 1940s?
Tempo?
No, I don't
Pepsi.
believe so. My phone's going to blow up. He's going to say, come on, Brad, I told you in that email. How about this one? Jack Regis.
Oh.
Regis, and I got the boat on that one.
Oh.
Scooter. Is that right? Andy, help me. Tell me I did it right. Anyway, it doesn't happen very
Jack
often.
Regis.
Doesn't happen very often.
Good one.
We're looking at the screen trying to figure out if those are unlimiteds in the water. I don't think they are. I think that is the Dustin Eccles driven Grand Prix. Hey, Jennifer Lomas, I still got your driver's license here.
Wanted to say hello to Bill Schmitz. Thank you for listening to us at H1 Unlimited via YouTube. He is from Silverdale, Washington, and never heard of Silverdale. Is that in the Seattle area, or is that more north toward the Canadian border?
That's across the pond.
Okay.
Not the Lake Washington pond. That would be the Puget Sound pond. I've still got that driver's license, Tennessee driver's license for Jennifer Louise Lomas. Jennifer, if you can hear me, I've got your driver's license here at the start-finish line. Please swing by. I will have to find somebody to give it to if I have to leave with it, and that'll go to Katie Norton here in Guntersville. But if you'll swing by start-finish, we've got it here for you. Just find Brad, Jeff, Tana, Mike, Marcus. We've all got it right here. Well, we don't all have it. Sitting right in front of me. How about that? Jennifer Lomas, Peabody, Tate, Nielsen, JMK, Runney with a trailer of Dustin Eccles. You say you like the handicap. Who's going to win this thing?
If I had to handicap right now, if I went to the mutuals or my online account with Twin Spires, I'd have to put Peabody right in there at 2-1 right now. Then I would go Kelly 3-1, Tate 7-2, Runney 8-1, Nielsen 12-1, Eccles 12-1.
I like the way you moved up the odds and tightened them up a bit on Andrew Tate. He showed me a lot that last time out. I love the boat ride. I loved the boat ride in these rough conditions. And Boy, we talk about rough conditions and it's dark in the sky and all that, but look at this water right now. Let's get them out here and go. The water is perfect right now.
Thank you for letting me do that. I felt like Mike Battaglia given the Derby odds for the Derby.
Speaking of Andrew Tate, the U91, the Goodman Real Estate has just come off the trailer. They are lifting it toward the water. The Goodman Real Estate is pitted right next to the Miss Home Street, as you would imagine. So they will have to dump the 91 in the water, then go pick the powder blue and white Miss Home Street. But we're getting ready. We're building. Fans, we've been running 3 laps around this 2.5-mile race course. We're going to open it up and go 5. It doesn't make any difference how many points you bring into this final heat. It's how you finish in this final heat. It is a winner-take-all final. It didn't used to always be that way. It used to be whoever had the most points. It was a points race back in the day. And it was hard for people to explain it to sponsors when the boat that came in 4th place was the winner of the overall regatta, and fans didn't like that.
Was 1976 the last year for that?
I honestly don't know. I have tried to remember, but I'll guarantee within inside 15 minutes, Andy Muntz will light up my phone with that answer. He'll have it. That's what he does.
I'm going to guess 1976. No. The answer is no. That's nice. I'd wish you good luck, but no. Having a little fun here at the start-finish line at the Southern Cup. Final heat coming up next at the Guntersville Lake Hydrofest for the Southern Cup, and Brad went over the front row, Dylan Runny in the home street, J. Michael Kelly, Beacon Electric, Corey Peabody, Beacon Plumbing, Jamie Nielsen, Legend Yacht Transport, Andrew Tate, Goodman Real Estate, and Dustin Eccles in the bucket list racing. Maybe I was wrong on that once I think about that.
Okay.
All right, I'm having too much fun with your son over here. He's going to have to go to jail.
That's fine. I'm not bailing him out. He's a big boy. It's been a long day. And somebody just noticed the error that was on the sheet that was handed to me. And I tell you what, it is a rare day when I catch Tana with a bit of a mistake. But I did. And a note to self before we get to Madison, can we please buy Tana some new pens? The one she has doesn't work so pretty good. Jeff, I'm going to step away from the microphone while we're putting our H1 Unlimiteds in the water. I can't tell how many of them are in. I know the 91 is in, and the cranes are moving. But once again, the H1 Unlimited Final for the 2023 Lake Guntersville Hydrofest and the race for the Southern Cup is going to feature U9, the Beacon Plumbing with Corey Peabody, the U91 Goodman Real Estate with Andrew Tate, Legend Yacht Transport, that's a U11, Jamie Nielsen will be behind the wheel, J. Michael Kelly, don't count him out, he's driving that bright red U8 Beacon Electric, the powder blue and white, the U1, the Miss Home Street, Dylan Runny, a lot of orange in the trailer position, U40 Bucket List Racing, Peabody, Tate, Nielsen, JMK, and Runny on the front row. Eccles will be the trailer. We're going to go 5 times around. It's a winner-take-all final. Let's send it back to Wyatt for a couple of minutes, play some music. We will come back as we get our boats in the water and are ready to go for the 2023 Southern Cup.
Could you ask Dan and Brian to come down as soon as they're done so we can get this tent down?
To our fans along the shoreline here of Lake Guntersville, we are getting ready for our 2023 Lake Guntersville Hydrofest finale, the race for the Southern Cup by H1 Unlimited Hydroplanes. Our 6 boats, including 5 on the front row, are in the water. We are awaiting a couple of radio personnel to show up here at start finish, and we are going to crank up this 5-lap final heat. In the meantime, if you are in the water, swimmers, we need you to get back up and out of the water. Swimmers out of the water. Parents, if you can help us with that one, if your kids are in the water, if you can help us retrieve them and get them out. This is for safety, the safety for them and everyone around. We need everyone out of the water. Final heat for the 2023 Southern Cup. Going to feature the U9, the Beacon Plumbing with Corey Peabody. Nobody has solved the Peabody puzzle, if you will, so far this weekend. But he's going to be joined by Andrew Tate in the Goodman Real Estate, Jamie Nielsen in the Legend Yacht Transport, teammate J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric, and Dylan Runny in the U1, the Miss Home Street. Our trailer boat will be a lot of orange. It's the U40 Bucket List Racing. And I know I'm ready to go. Jeff Ayler stepped away for a moment. He is ready to go. The boats are in the water. We are simply awaiting a couple radio people to show. The moment they do, we will put our H1 Unlimiteds on the clock for the 2023 Southern Cup. It's Peabody, Tate, Nielsen, Kelly, Runny, and Eccles.
For our fans along the shoreline, we are inside 10 minutes. Inside 10 minutes away for the winner-take-all Southern Cup here at Lake Guntersville. Guntersville, Alabama. Brad Luce. I'm Jeff Ayler. 9:30 away. Mother Nature's worked with us. Unfortunately, this will be the last race of the day due to possible inclement weather moving in. Our priority is get the Southern Cup in. Boats are going into the water. We're in the clock countdown sequence. Cross your fingers. The water conditions has been as best as they were since 8:30 this morning. Let's start this party.
Yeah, the water conditions right now and the weather conditions are very, very good right now for unlimited hydroplane racing. If we can get this out here in 8 minutes and 57 seconds, and this should be a beauty. It has built all weekend. If we just call all weekend back to 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon when we opened up the show with the test session that we had from 2 to 5, we've seen extremely high speeds. We've seen outstanding boat racing. We've seen great boat ride. And honestly, there is no clear-cut winner or a clear-cut favorite in this thing, as you said when you were handicapping. If you're going to try and pick one, I guess until somebody beats him, you got to look at Corey Peabody. Nobody's solved the Corey Peabody puzzle yet, but I'm starting to look down a little further at that Andrew Tate guy. I tell you what, and that kid's a gamer.
Oh, he's a gamer. And, Brad, one more shout-out to listeners watching us on H1 Unlimited via YouTube. Good afternoon to Travis Guyman. He's got that Manville blood lineage in him right there, Brad.
There you go. There you go. So 7 minutes and 55 seconds to the start of the Southern Cup. We've actually been calling the launching of the drones today. It's been kind of fun. Yeah, Brian had that one come pretty close to his head right there. Brian, set that thing up a little higher next time. But it's away. Brian says his little buddy out across the water. Kind of fun to watch those things. All right, 7:25. Our second drone takes off. Boats are in the water. Beacon Plumbing, Goodman Real Estate, Legend Yacht Transport, Beacon Electric, Miss Home Street. That's the front row. Bucket List Racing, gonna trail everybody.
Brad,
They'll have their hands full.
I'm sorry, we saw it here last year. First time we'll see 6 H1 Unlimiteds on the water at the same time. Also, too, the longest race of the day, the 5-lapper. My reason for bringing this up, we saw last year here at the APBA Gold Cup with 6 boats out here. Boy, the water was really rough and soupy. It cost Jimmy Shane in the Miss Home Street. He went dead in the water, refired, but was below that rule before the start, going down on plane. Jimmy is actually watching today online. Jimmy, good afternoon. We hope you're enjoying retirement. Get ready for a barn burner Southern Cup.
Yeah, Mr. Shane, you know what's going on in the heads of all those drivers. You know what it takes to win on this race course. You have been a champion here. Time to crown a champion of the Southern Cup. 2023 style. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats. We can have boats on the water here in 12 seconds. 10 seconds away from 6 minutes to the start of the Southern Cup for 2023. Jeff Ayler, let's get ready to go. 2 seconds, 1 second, mark, 6 minutes. And I think the first boat that's going to come out, well, I thought I knew what it was going to be. I thought maybe it was going to be Corey Peabody, but I think the first boat away is bright red, and I believe it is J. Michael Kelly, but he's got company coming with him. Bucket List is coming. The Home Street is coming with him. The Goodman Real Estate is coming with him. Jamie Nielsen is away. Corey Peabody is away. We've got all 6 boats away from the dock, and that was the old guy. He's colorblind, but at least I can still see a little bit.
Brad.
They got close together. The 2 boats on the far right got very close together.
That's the 91 and the 8. It looks like from our angle.
Kelly, I think. I'm the colorblind guy, but we'll check what those 2 boats were. We're watching on the monitor, and I believe with that fencing right in there, I believe that is J. Michael Kelly, and it is.
Oh.
J. Michael Kelly and Andrew Tate could have put their hands together. They were so close as they came out of the pit area, but they've got that squared away. I don't believe Jeff Ayler there was any contact. Honestly, I'm not sure either of them knew the other one was there. I think they were coming away, maybe checking gauges, and all of a sudden realized they had company.
Our camera crew from H1 Unlimited was Johnny on the spot with that because of our faraway distance. That was a scary moment in the race before the race, and Brad, it happened just outside the pit area.
Certainly did. 4 minutes and 25 seconds now. Look, Dylan Runny decides he's going to play a little bit of this Dyson game. He is cleared to go, and he is cleared to fight for a lane. He came up the backstretch across from the pit area, cut the race course to the front side. He's got himself ahead of the balance of the field. Coming down the front straightaway here is Dustin Eccles in the bright orange. Bucket List Racing comes in with 719 points. The bright orange boat, Dustin Eccles, will be the trailer. Then our two friends who got close together out there on the inside, the bright red, it is the Beacon Electric.
Getting some information from
go ahead. I gotta
H1
check
Unlimited
something.
appears, Brad. You go ahead and decipher the information we're getting here. Coming up on the 3-minute 30-second mark, 3:30 until the start. Brad, what you got?
Well, apparently we have a 1-lap penalty on the U1, the Miss Home Street, for not entering the course correctly. I'm not sure exactly what he did. We'll get clarification after. Remember, I'm going to go get clarification on this because I've got somebody right there who knows exactly what the call was. We saw him come across and then come across the race course. I don't know if that's where it happened, but it's 2:55. I'm going to move quick.
Coming up on the 2-minute 50-second mark as Brad Luce will verify the possible 1-lap penalty on Dylan Runny in the Miss Home Street. I'm going to guess maybe entering the course incorrectly or re-entering the course during the milling period, cutting through the infield. So that's the story right now, coming up on the 2-minute 30-second mark. Brad, you're back with me. What's the clarification?
Okay, the rule now reads that when you come out of the pit area and you come over and join the race course, you have to go all the way around the top end of the race course before you can cut it. He went straight to the GP corner, cut the course, came over to the front end. We called it. That is going to cost Mr. Runny in the final heat. But he can still run. He's going to be on the front row as we approach 2 minutes. Where are we on this race course? Kelly's coming down here. Ooh, he's early. You got 3 of them coming down here early. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You got Kelly coming across the line right here at 1:56, followed by Tate. He is going to be in the second lane. The third lane is going to go to Corey Peabody. Then it is going to be Dylan Runny. Jamie Nielsen's going to slot in outside of those guys. But, Jeff, they are early at 1:40 at the entrance pin to that lower corner.
Now, Jamie Nielsen is in unusual territory here. He's going to be to the outside. He usually likes to get lane number 1, but these other boats, Brad, I truly agree. Runny will have the 1-lap penalty. He's sliding the 4 lane right now. If these boats would jump, boy, this could be a big moment for Nielsen, but lots to play out here. We're 1 minute and 15 seconds away from the start. It's the Marshall County Tourism and Sports 2023 Southern Cup. We now are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 1 minute period has begun for the Southern Cup. J. Michael Kelly, I believe, is early, followed by Andrew Tate, Corey Peabody, Dylan Runny. I think Nielsen might be best, but he'll be on the outside. Eccles trails it. Brad Luce, we are 45 seconds away from the start. Bring us to the green flag for the Southern Cup Championship.
All right, the boats are up at the top end of the race course. Kelly is definitely early at 35 seconds. There's an old line in boat racing, Jeff. You don't want to overpay for that inside lane. Let's hope he did not. And then you had the lanes correctly as they come off the top end of the course. Kelly's going to be in 1. It is going to be Tate in 2. It's going to be Peabody in 3. Runny in 4. Nielsen's going to come to the outside. We're still 14 seconds from the start. Kelly is crawling up here. So's the rest of them. Go, Jamie Nielsen, go. We are at 5 seconds. We are at 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. Jamie Nielsen is going to trail the home street across start-finish line, but Nielsen's got the boat speed. Down to the lower end of the race course, I think Kelly clearly jumped the gun, but we're going to call them as they are on the water. We'll see what comes out. It is Corey Peabody from lane number 3.
Andrew Tate's over. Andrew Tate's over. Andrew Tate is over in turn 1 in Miss Goodman Real Estate. Red flag. Tate was a little bit late at the start, and he got wet, and he is over. The craft is upside down. We're watching our monitors here on H1 Unlimited. This race will be red flagged. The officials, yes, now the red flag has come out. The boat in question, the boat up, and here Andrew he is coming out of the cockpit from the bottom, out of the escape hatch, and he's coming out feet first. He needs to twist around, and he's out. Andrew Tate getting out under his own power in U91, but he's having a tough time, Brad. We need to get some help to him. Here comes the skin diver.
He's got everything out of that cockpit, out the bottom hatch, everything except it looks like his shoulders and maybe his head. He's just about out of it.
He's out now. He's out. He's on the bottom of the boat.
He is on the bottom of the boat.
And he holds his hands up in the air, and he appears to be okay. Brad, our procedure, we'll get to Andrew Tate. We've got a great shot from our drone through H1 Unlimited through YouTube. Red flag displayed. We will make certain that Andrew Tate is okay. He's actually sticking his head back down into the enclosed capsule from the reverse order upside down. So let's see. That boat appears to be right now. Of course, you'll have some horizontals and verticals. He's getting his helmet. The front wing is actually cocked and went out of position, probably from the force hitting the water. But the good news is Andrew got out on his own. Red flag situation, and Brad, the next flag we'll see is the black flag, and that will indicate to the other drivers they can go back to the pit area in a safe and orderly fashion. I didn't mean to step on you, but the boys on the film crew had it perfectly. They were right on that boat upside down the water.
I honestly, Jeff, I did not see it. You're right. I had the call. I was calling the boats out front. We saw Corey come out of the corner, and when I heard you start yelling the 91, I thought maybe I was looking at the wrong boat. But no, I did not see Andrew go over. He is up, he is out, he is walking. The rescue personnel have him, and kind of looked like Andrew wanted to hang around there a little bit with his boat. Drivers like to do that. But the rescue and safety personnel have ushered him off of his boat and into the rescue sled. But I think it's pretty clear that while he might be banged up and bunged up a little bit, he got himself out and he was walking around on the deck once again. Our safety capsules do their job.
Brad, by memory, real quickly, I was listening to your call and I stuck my head down the monitor. The H1 Unlimited video team went to the drone shot quickly. I saw 4 boats and I thought for an instant, uh-oh, the 91's not there. And then right quickly, they went to that boat upside down the water. So there's a possibility here of very many things. Did it blow over? Did somebody come over? Did he get wet to help go over? So we'll get that clarification as we go on here with our broadcast.
All we wanted to do was get that final in. We had great water conditions, and the unfortunate occurrence there to the U91, the Goodman Real Estate, and Andrew Tate. They're going to get an awful lot of publicity and an awful lot of press, but it's not the kind they wanted. Andrew, as you and I were talking, I was so impressed with the last run of the Goodman Real Estate. The boat ride I thought was just spectacular, and I thought they really had a piece here in the final and were going to be a player.
Once again, a wonderful drone shot from our video team with H1 Unlimited through YouTube. We will get this boat. It will have to be towed back in, obviously, upside down. Right now, we will be monitoring with the officials. We're still waiting for the black flag. That will indicate to the other drivers to start their boats. They can go back into the pit area in a safe and orderly fashion. Now, is one going on ahead back to the pits down there, Brad? It's tough to tell from this angle, but that does look like some wash from an H1 Unlimited. That might be J. Michael Kelly.
I don't know. I don't think so unless he was starting to drift in maybe to the causeway. But the good news is it appears, at least, that Andrew is okay. Certainly a good sign anytime they can extricate themselves from the cockpit by themselves, which he was definitely able to do. Great job by the H1 Unlimited live streaming team to have, as you said, a great view of it. I'm kind of anxious for them to drive up a replay and see if we can see what happened down there.
Once again, to Brad, to you and our fans, it happened so quick, and I didn't mean to step on you, but it was a serious situation with that boat. You see it on that screen, and there it is upside down, because it was, from our angle, we didn't see it visually, so we'll see if they get any replays of this possibly to kind of clarify what actually happened to cause the Goodman Real Estate to land upside down here at turn number 1, lap number 1 of the Southern Cup.
Jeff, I'm going to step away from the microphone here for just a moment. I'm going to let you take it. We're just kind of watching here slowly as things unfold. I'm going to step away, have a conversation with the officials. I will be right back.
Thank you, Brad. For our viewers watching on H1 Unlimited via YouTube, if you're just joining us, the start of the final heat of the 2023 Southern Cup was red flagged after Andrew Tate landed upside down in the U91 Goodman Real Estate. From Brad and mine's vantage point right now, we do not know what happened to cause the boat to land upside down. We don't know if it blew over. We don't know if he got into some water of a boat ahead of him to help it go over. So we're still trying to clarify what the incident was to make the U91 Goodman Real Estate land upside down here at Lake Guntersville. I'll take a slight break. I'll keep the microphone open. I'll go silent for a moment, but when we get any information from H1 Unlimited or race officials, we'll come back to you. Stay tuned. We'll give you updates when we get them here at the Southern Cup.
Grab this one. I'll grab the card. You're in that footage. It's right there.
Now boats are starting to fire. The black flag has been displayed, and that is proper protocol. After an accident, the drivers will acknowledge they will go back into the pit area in a safe and orderly fashion. Brad, you've come back with me. Right now, with the weather situation, we'll have to get these boats out of the water, do a quick check, refuel, and let's hope Mother Nature cooperates with us so we can get this Southern Cup restarted. When a race is stopped after the halfway mark, that is a official race. This race was nowhere close of being official. Happened in turn number 1 on lap number 1. And Brad, we see the Goodman Real Estate from our video team, and such a shame for Andrew Tate, his first race for Miss Madison Racing, one of the hometown boats at next weekend's Bob Hughes Memorial Madison Regatta presented by U.S. Premier Tube Mills.
Well, I am now. I was going to say I'm not positive my mic was hot, but it is indeed, and I'm going to shut it off now just for a sec. Take it, Jeff. I'm going to step away. In fact, let's send it to Wyatt. We got a lot of work to do. Hang on.
Pilgrims in Guntersville is higher. Physicians start at $19.30 per hour and offer excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and vision insurance, 401k contributions, and opportunities to grow professionally with our employment development programs and college tuition support. Pilgrims, safety is a condition. Pilgrims maintains a safe work environment and provides opportunities to create a better future for you and your family. Apply today at pilgrims.com/career or call 256-571-0260. Pilgrims is proud to be a presenting sponsor of Pilgrims wants to be your employer of choice. Visit pilgrims.com/careers direct.
Superior RV is welcoming you to Hydrofest. Superior RV is selling the best brands in the RV industry, like Forest River, Gulfstream, Thor Coach, and Heartland. And if you need service, the Superior Tour service product will get you fixed up fast. Superior RV with unmatched sales, service, and storage. Be sure to check out the all-new parts and accessories showroom too. Superior RV, just 2 miles north of the Big River Bridge, Highway 431, Lake Guntersville.
They call them right now.
To our fans along the shoreline, we had our unfortunate occurrence down there in turn 1 of lap 1 of what was going to be an incredible Southern Cup final heat. We've seen Andrew Tate get out of the boat. We saw him walk around on the deck. It is definitely apparent that he is okay. The boat is still under a recovery procedure down there. We've sent our boats back to the pit area. But we have made a decision, we on the H1 Unlimited side, we have made a decision to call the event. The event is now complete. We've got inclement weather on the horizon. It is moving in here. It's probably not going to be very pleasant, and in the interest of safety, we have called the event. We are not going to rerun the final. I have the event coordinator, Katie Norton, here with me on the microphone. Katie, you can probably explain some of that decision better than I can. Tell your fans what we're thinking and why the decision.
We are so glad that you stuck with us today and through the weekend. We hope you enjoyed your time here. We are under a severe thunderstorm warning, and we are evacuating the venue. We have brought our buses into the 3 gates, so we would encourage you to head toward, pack your stuff up and head toward the buses, and they will return you to your cars as safely and quickly as possible. If you are in a personal tent space and you brought items with you on Friday to set up your tailgate area, please put your tents completely down and leave your things where they are. We have security here overnight, and we promise you can come back after the storm passes this evening or first thing in the morning to pick up your items. We appreciate everybody being here. Travel home safe and come back next year for Hydrofest 24.
Thank you very much, Katie. I know nobody is any more disappointed than you, but this is the correct decision. This is the right decision in the interest of safety. We all wanted to decide the Southern Cup out on the water, but sometimes Mother Nature is the fastest qualifier and the event winner. So thank you. Fans, you heard what Katie had to say. Unfortunate as it might be, that's the way we've got to do it in the interest of safety. I can tell you Katie Norton can make the tough decision when it has to be done, and she just did, along with H1 Unlimited. That does not mean we won't have a Southern Cup champion, but we're going to have to tally up the points. We don't have it official. We believe we know who that winner is. I think Corey Peabody went into that final heat with more points than anybody else, but we will wait until we have it official from H1 Unlimited, and we will put those results online because, as you heard Katie say, we're under a warning here. We, too, are going to break down this equipment, and we are going to head for cover as Katie has requested. So I will leave you only with some words of saying thank you to everybody for coming. It was a great event. Please, please be safe going home. We've got a little time until this storm is supposed to hit, we don't have to rush out of here, but let's be moving in that direction, and let's break things down. You heard Katie talk about leaving stuff here. So, I'm going to do the same. Unfortunately, we didn't get a final heat, but we had some great racing. The Southern Cup is in the books for 2023. We will post the final and official results online. Until we get to do that, I'm going to step away. On behalf of Mike Morissette, Tana Morissette, my broadcast partner, Jeff Ayler, this is Brad Luce saying so long from the 2023 Lake Guntersville Hydrofest, the race for the Southern Cup on the shores of Lake Guntersville. Good night, everybody. Be careful.